or any blockers?
So to reuse the data, if the status is used here, I have to go upload again change the status to new and I have to upload it again, right?
Yeah, you have to change the status to new.
Thing
Okay.
is, in Tosca, I've executed a login test I've done positive and negative test cases on the login page. If I
Okay.
look at my test data, I just used some random data to get a error message and then it should log in into the system. So what's happening in my case is it's because I use the repetition as 9 on my exploratory testing. Here I've used like repetition as 9. So it executed 9 times. The only issue for me is the browser, it's killing the browser 9 times. I don't want to kill the browser 9 times. I want to kill it once and then use the test data for 9 times. How do I do that?
So at the time, add the repetition at your test case level. Okay.
Test case level. Okay.
Entire process keep the repetition 9 times. Here we are just adding repetition at execution level. That repetition it's applicable for 9 times.
The whole
Whole
test.
body,
Yeah.
whole test. If you don't want to run the task kill operation every time, then keep the main logic into the process and then do a run.
Oh, you have to move this login reference to process.
Yes. Create
And
one
what about
subfolder. Yeah, in the main precondition, create one subfolder. Inside that subfolder, add the login references. Okay. Once you add that, in that particular folder, add repetition here. In the test case level, also we can add the repetition, right?
yeah.
Yes, right. So you can within the test case level, what are the steps you want to repeat more than one time? You can mention only those steps, not the entire test case.
But if
Okay.
I put this into a folder or these steps into a different folder, I want to repeat only this. But what about the test data update item? Should it be into the login or out of the
Keep
login?
it as it is. You
So
want to
where do you,
update every time like the update item, right?
yeah,
Right. So you have to
yeah,
keep inside the login level. Okay.
inside the login. So you want me to
Hmm.
put this into a subfolder and add repetition here for this too.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So if you to run a particular sequence of test steps, okay, only a selected steps more than one time, then create repetition folder within the test case level. That
Yeah.
possibility we have. Okay.
Okay, Anusha, I'll try. Thank
Hmm.
you.
Thank you. Team others, Bindu, Bharat,
I'm
Shalin.
yet to practice,
Need
Nisha.
to
I
practice
just
also.
Team, please do it because it is a completely important flows. Okay. So whenever you had a free time, make sure to do a practice. Okay. Na? In a TDS level, I just explained yesterday, Tim, we have few more standard modules over here. Let me give an example of those standard modules. This is your standard module subset. In this here, just check out this one. So see here also, Shravanti, I created only this particular step more than one time. Able to see?
Yeah.
The repetition I mentioned 20 times. That means it run only this particular step more than 20 times, not entire flows. But
Okay.
if we give repetition at project execution level, by default here, each test it run only one time. The default repetition is one only.
Yeah.
If you want to run the same test, entire test case more than one time, then use execution level repetition. Particular test step, then use test step, test case level repetition. Okay.
Okay, Anusha. Thank you.
Now coming back to here, Tim, this is your standard module subset. In this standard module subset, two more standard modules are there. So far we understand how to find and provide the item, create item and update item. Okay. Next one is move item, delete item, import item, export to, update typo, export modules. So move item to type. So what is move item to type? Let me show you. I'll explain theoretically first. Later I'll explain with example. Move item to type is nothing but we are just doing a movement of one record, one complete record to the another type. How it looks like. Let me show you one thing. We go to here. This is your table. Let us assume this is your table. Okay. In this table, you have some records. For example, here one A record is there and something, some record related info also there here. Now you have another table. Another table is nothing but another type. What are the record you already tested here? You just want to move this particular record to the another type. That means you are directly moving this complete A record to the another table. Getting my point? You're just moving completely this A record. Completely this particular A record. What are the record here? It is generated this complete A record to the another type. That means it move this entire record to here and the record is here. So this kind of movement is possible. To perform this kind of movement, we use test data move item to type. Move item to type. That means we are moving one particular item, one table item to another table item. Clear this theoretical part? Let me show you here, Tim. Even if you want to perform move item to type, must be required a combination. First of all, find the record, which records you want to move one table to another table. So let me open localhost here. In this localhost, Tim, just open your this data management tile. So the page is loading. Just give me 1 second. Please wait 1 second. Open your respective repositories. So here our repository type is orange. Just open the repository. Here you can see login, NVP register. Lot of things are there. I just want to move the record like used record to the another type. Another type. So create one new type or you can keep it as it is. So my record is here. I just want to move one record to the another type. To how to do that? First of all, combination is required. Find the item. Find, just provide our condition, which condition basis you are trying to move the record. So to provide a condition, make sure to use find and provide item. Expand it. Here, the existing TDS type is login. Just mention the login. And my condition is here in data search filter level. Just mention the condition. So condition is nothing but we are just providing a constraint for the specific record. I just want to move the record who are having the status. The record is having the status is equal to used. Which record is having the status is equal to used. I just want to move these records to the another type. To do that, team, here you have to give the existing alias name. Login or only L is also fine. So once we enter L here, so this is the existing or new TDS type. So I'm just using login backup. So see here, Tim, existing or new TDS type is nothing but what are the name you are just mentioning here. It always cross check that name is populated here. Do we have any type with the name as login backup? No.
No.
So here you can see existing or new. If it is exist, then it go there and update there. But if not, it create a new type with a login underscore backup and give the alias name. Above what are the alias name you just mentioned here, the same alias name you can pass here. Now run these two steps together. So far, Tim, in the login type, totally 34 records are there. Out of 34, one record it is having used status, rest all or new status only. Once your execution is completed successfully, just come back here, go to your repository type. Almost rest of all are new status only. If you do refresh, it create a new TDS type with the name as login underscore backup. And later, it move the record which is having a status is equal to used. Okay. So now if you come back here, Tim, there is no record with a status is equal to new. So are you able to see any record with a name status is equal to new? No, there is no record. So that time what you can do, just come back here, right click here, do again. So what are the steps you already executed? Again, I'm running. But if you see here, the status used records or not exist in the TDS type. If those are not existing, it's give a error message to us. Let's see. Is it giving error message or silently it is passing the script? We can cross check that. There is no records with the used status here. So the script is running here. So it is trying to find the record with the name as status is equal to used, but that used record is not exist here. If used record is not exist, it has to find right before performing moment. It is giving an error message. So what is the error message? No available test found here. Based on your condition, there is no respective test is not identified in the TDS level. That is the reason this error is coming. The thing is here, Tim, the purpose of movement move item to type is nothing but we are moving one particular record to the another type based upon the condition. Either you can use used or you can take any other categories also, either admin or username or password or full name, email ID, mobile. You can take any one of these records. Clear, all of you? Move item to type.
Yeah. In which instance do we use this option in real time, Anusha? Why do
After
we
done with your
move?
testing, you just mark it as a used, right?
Yeah.
If you want to keep all the used data into one separate type, then create another type and then maintain here. Somewhat we do in real time similar way. What are the records we used for so and so pages or so and so countries? We just move those all items back to the another type. Clear?
What's the purpose of status used then?
Yeah,
I mean,
somewhat we do, but not every time. Okay. So
okay.
this is the purpose of movement, just moving one item to the another type. So for example, you have some record here. This is not belongs to this particular table. You want to move this record to the another type. How to do that? You can use the
Okay.
script here. Okay.
Okay, Anusha.
Use the automated script. That is possibility. Okay. So the next one is here, Tim. Import items. We already discussed how to import the items here.
One fixed person. The
Sorry,
moving item. Do you have any kind of like copying the item from
the copy paste.
login?
Copy paste is not there here, Bharat. If you're trying to take a copy, if you want to add an item, must you have to enter each field level manually. Getting?
I'm asking through automation, like you want to copy, like we moved one item from list A to list B, right? Like that. Do you have any item that we can copy item to type?
No. To do that, either we have to use alternative way, like use buffer options. What constraints you provided here, based on that you can use buffers. Hmm? To perform a copy action, we have a standard module, but not a function to perform at TDS level. Okay. Let me create one subfolder here. Move item to type. This is what we just discussed. So Tim, if you want to perform a delete item, even for the delete item also we require the same combination. First of all, you have to identify the record before performing a delete icon. So basically, the delete items and all we can do directly in the screen, directly like this. For example, I want to delete this last record. Just come here and directly you can click on this delete icon and confirm the delete confirmation message. But in Tosca point of view, automation point of view, if you want to delete any script, you can do that, but use the condition here. I'm just taking here the mobile number as a prerequisite. Take here mobile number and the value of the person is this one. If mobile number is this, then delete. So for delete level team, use the delete standard module. Come here and drag and drop this delete standard module here to here. And then expand here. Enter the name is here L. That's it. It delete the respective record from the respective type. This is the delete item at least we can do in an automation script. So far 34 records are there. Out of 34, it delete one record, the last second one record. So once this one is deleted, that count is becoming 33. See here. Now, if you do refresh, you can able to see the login type level total records are 33. In this 33 records team, the one last second mobile number related stuff is deleted. Totally 4 are having the same mobile number. So out of 4, it is deleted the first occurrence. Clear? This is the delete item. We can do via automation script. Even to delete, just find the respective one and then use the alias name to delete combination. The next one is import, export, and update time. So what these three modules will related to team. Here you can see in automation web level, export the data back to the, export this particular data to your local system, either CSV format or JSON format or not CSV, Excel format. And import items, import item I already explained to you how to do manually. And update type, the name of the type, if you want to update, just perform this particular pencil icon to perform update icon. Okay. Now, how to do these things via automated script? In automation script, we have a standard module to perform import item, export item, update item. First of all, I'll do export item and then I'll do import item. To perform export, import, update, we don't require any search criteria because this is applying for the entire type level. So which type you want to export initially, you have to select the type from the down. So coming back to here, team, just directly use your login functionality here. The login level, export format. So what are the formats it is available? CSV format, JSON format, and Excel format. Okay. So choose the Excel format and the file where exactly you want to export. Just select the file. In my system, I have a Excel doc. And then I'm just using S1 file. Open this one. Once you open this Excel file, team, directly you can run this. So this sorting, encoding, line breaker, separator, these things all belongs to the CSV files. Okay. For Excel format, we don't require any of these fields, and even these are not a mandatory fields. Simply you can select the step and run the step. So see here, the script is executed. And if you go back to the path, what are the path I just mentioned, and open the S1 file here. Okay. In the S1 file, the data, what are the data it is there in a TDS level, the entire data is exported here. If you want to update this data accordingly, yes, you can do that. Okay. For example, I just want to fulfill these all values team, and along with that, some usernames I'm just using here. Ram, and Raghu. So something I'm just passing. Let us update the data accordingly. Once you update the data, the similar way, same names I'm just using for this particular full names as well. Just drag this one like, yeah, same names I'm using. For email IDs also, team, you can able to give any kind of email ID combinations like ramu123@gmail.com and sweetha@gmail.com. So gmail.com and then gmail.com. So like this, you can prepare directly data within your local system. Once you prepare this entire data team, you can map the same data to the other fields also. And now coming to the mobile numbers, I'm just taking some kind of mobile numbers over here. Yeah. So just drag and drop all this information, and coming to countries too. I'm just taking some of the countries. So once you're done with these things, Tim, just simply come and fill the form. So earlier these are not empty, and now the data is fulfilled here. And once the data is ready, Tim, simply close this file and import item. I just prepared the data for the import purpose. Right now we exported, the data is exported successfully. Let us do import data. Just use import subset items, drag and drop this item back to your test case, and here enter the file name. So if you want to create here, if you are seeing a naming conversion existing or new TDS, so make sure to either create a new one or existing one. Login underscore Excel underscore import, or simply I can make it as Excel data. Use the same type team or use the different type. Any of this, it's up to you. I'm just creating right now new type. And my file is Excel file, and it is located in our local directory. So just select the directory path, this one. The directory path is selected. Now, if you run this particular one, it will create a new type at our Tosca server level with the name as Excel underscore login underscore Excel underscore data, and then it import the data. If you do refreshment of this server page, you can see new type is created. Login underscore Excel underscore data, total 33 records. Each record it is having some data here. Clear?
I have. So while exporting the data, right? Can we have like only some specific set of records, like example in last name or or something, right? Only those records can be pulled. Something you can use any condition.
This is a predefined. Okay. So this module allows you to export all items in a type from your database as a file.
Oh, so there is
All items, not a
all
particular.
items.
Yes. If you want a particular item after exporting, just update your Excel sheet accordingly based on your requirement, then do import back to the same TDS. Okay.
Okay.
Next team, update type, the name of the type. If you want to update the type name, just drag and drop this one and update the type name. For example, my TDS type name is here. Login underscore type underscore name, something is there. IRCTC sign up is there. I just want to rename this one to IRCTC. Just it is a kind of renaming and updating. As I mentioned, this is going to do some kind of CRUD operations, creating update, insert data, retrieve data, everything we can do via automated script only. So the last and final module is here, Tim. This is having a combination of all the tasks. We can use this last module to perform some other additional activities or test data tasks like a create item, a read only data. Whenever you are retrieving data from the TDS, you can try to retrieve data from TDS using read only mode. Find item. If you want to find any specific item from the TDS type level, then use the find method here. Update, delete item, delete typo, delete all. So item means it's delete only particular item. Type means entire type it remove. Delete all means it keep the structure and it delete entire the data. And this lock item, unlock item, lock type, unlock type is nothing but team. In TDS level, we have a feature. Are you guys able to see one lock icon here? The lock icon, the cursor. If you are clicking here, the locking is happening. So whenever you lock something, the no one able to proceed to do some of the actions on that. So we have the flexibility. You can lock the items, each record, and you can lock the entire type of the table. Clear? These all are the predefined standard models which is related to TDS.
Anusha, when you log the item and when you start executing, it'll still use that data, right?
Yeah, it use the data. Locking is nothing but the number of testers are working simultaneously in the same project, and even they are using the same workspaces, same Tosca server TDS level, right?
Yeah.
If they are trying to retrieve a data from your side or their side, without locking, they can able to retrieve the data simultaneous. But if someone is locked it, so then that will be locked for no one able to retrieve data from their side because that record is locked by some other person. Get it? Let me show you the standard modules team. This is the test data services. If you open this one, so these all are the modules team. So this is a completely test data expert module. So here the security is enabled. lock item, you need to find the item first, use alias name to refer it when it is executing the scripts. So at the time of executing steps, you can lock the item, unlock the item, lock type, unlock the types is possible, and how it is going to do, and what standard modules we can able to reuse. Those things are it's added here clearly. Just refer this talk, okay? This is on-prem only, right? Yeah, on-prem only. Great. So if you want to do complete all these options, so here you have to go with test data management module. This is a completely all the modules related information. You can see what modules I just explained to you so far. So, Tim, theoretical point of view, you can look into this, but when you come across some kind of examples, I'll tell you how the flow is happening in real time point of. Even I'll give you at least one or two, three examples on this. In a SAP project, I'll explain with the same combination, and API also I'll explain with the same combination, and even some kind of insurance project also I'll explain with the same combination. Clear with this, everyone? The test data services team. Hmm? Team. Mm-hmm. Everyone clear?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next team, small concepts are there. This TCD, it's quite difficult to understand. So initially try to work at least 1 week for TDS combination. Once you are familiar with this, I'll explain the TCD combination. This is the another way to design the data and retrieve the data. So this is somewhat old projects are still running in the TCD level team. I'll show you how to work with this. Okay. Meanwhile, what I'll do, I'll just explain some of the other concepts like how to work with dynamic elements, how to generate the dynamic expressions and duplicate controls, how to work with the duplicate controls, what is business parameters. I think we discussed this business parameter concept, correct? In RTB level. How to create the business parameter, the parameter list of items, how to design it. So Tim, I'll pick each and every concept here and then I'll explain to you in detail with some examples. Clear?
Okay, Anusha.
Let us create here a new file with a name as buffer operations. Okay. So for what you guys are understand on the buffers, tell me. Is anyone worked with the buffer operations?
It stores the value.
Yes, it stores the value. Okay.
It acts as a variable and stores the data.
Very good. So it stores the value in buffer section. So in the buffer section, it stores the value. If you want to retrieve that value, you have to use the buffer syntax. Okay. So buffer is one of the storage section in Tosca team, and even it is acting as a local variables. So as per the terminology point of view, I'm telling, so some of the projects, they are asking like, what are the local variables in Tosca? What are global variables in Tosca? So these buffers, we can say these are the local variables. Okay. And how to work with these buffers? If buffer syntax is here, buffer retrieve the buffers. How to retrieve the buffer? Tell me. What are the buffers? It's already stored into the buffer section. How to retrieve those buffers in Tosca? Use the
Level bracket B.
Buffer syntax. B of
Buffer.
buffer. Okay. And action mode of the buffer. So see here, Tim, this is a simple terminology about the buffers. Buffer is one of the storage section in Tosca. The main purpose is here, create the buffer and assign some value to that. So later sometime within the text case or outside the text case or some other text case, you can retrieve the value. That is possible. Okay. And most of the cases, what are the buffers we created within the test case level? We can reuse the buffers within the test only instead of outside the test. That is the one thing. So here we have different ways to create the buffers. So far already we understand some of the ways to create the buffers. Let me explain the different ways to create the buffers. The first one is here, team. Action mode buffer. Everyone clear with action mode buffer?
Yes, sir.
Next one is dynamic buffer. Okay. These all are the action mode buffer, dynamic buffer. Other than this, we have a standard modules. Standard modules to create the buffers. Just telling standard modules to create a buffer operation. How to create these standard modules? The fun thing, I think I already explained what is that T box set buffer. Okay. Next one is T box partial buffer. Third one is T box name to buffer. Fourth one is T box delete buffer. Okay. So these all are the buffers related standard modules too. So up to 3 we can use for the creation of the buffers. The fourth one is for delete buffers. If you want to delete any buffer, either particular buffer or more than one buffer, use here T-box delete buffer. So out of all this, we discussed all are a few things. What are those? Action mode buffers are discussed. And which one is completed then? T-box set buffer is also discussed. Clear? Is it done, T? Yes, it is completed. Okay. So let us focus on dynamic buffer and partial buffer, T-box name to buffer, and then delete buffer. If you come across the dynamic buffer team, dynamic buffer is very, very important. This one is very important and most frequently used one in real time. Please listen carefully, okay? I'll give you an examples on this, don't worry. So dynamic buffer is nothing but in before the dynamically changed value in our application. So in your application, if any one of the value is changing dynamically, if you want to capture that particular value stored into a buffer section, then use action mode as a buffer. Dynamically changed value. So how to represent these dynamic buffers? The dynamic buffer representation is here. Open curly braces XB of buffer name. And action mode of the dynamic buffer must be verified. If you are using this particular syntax to make sure to set the password action mode as a verify because it is a dynamic buffer syntax. How it help us? For example, we have one of the example team. Let me show you in our assignment doc. One example is there. So is everyone able to see this message? Everyone able to see here? Enter this message stream. Which one it will change dynamically? Which one it will change dynamically every time? Dollar of amount, right? Yes or no?
Yep.
So the message is completely stable, but it's changed. Which value it is changing dynamically? Dollar amount. Which value it is changing? Dollar amount. The thing is here, team, you have some kind of messages. For example, your order ID. Whenever you place some orders in Amazon or Myntra or Swiggy or Blinkit or any kind of e-commerce application, so it will always generates the order ID, right? Tell me, this order ID is static or dynamic?
Dynamic.
Dynamic. Okay. So in SAP screens team, if you create any orders, for example, standard order or cash to order ID is here. So which value it is changed here? This order number. So dynamic buffer is nothing but enter script level, enter message level, some portion or some area, one thing, either characters or numbers or whatever the values. It always changes the dynamically. What are the values are changing dynamically? You have to buffer only the piece of dynamically changed value. Only this value. I don't want this entire message. You may ask, Anusha, can we go with the action mode buffer, right? If you use action mode buffer, what happens? It create one variable. It assign this entire message to that particular variable. Okay. But to buffer only this piece of code, use dynamic buffer. How to use that? Let me show you with example. Where this one, right? Copy this one too and open in my Chrome browser. Paste here, run. So once you run this particular one, just go to your Tosca commander and scan this particular icon. Check out. I click scan application. For web application, desktop application, same approach. Okay. Select this particular one, click on scan. So here, so which message it is populated here? Just select that one, select on screen. So this message we want, and then select this text box, uncheck. So seems these two controls are unique. Okay. And here you can see in the product level, if you go to the properties, which technical properties are added here? Inner text is added. In inner text, which value it is changing dynamically? This number, right? Don't keep the number as it is. Inside the remove this number and in the number place use the asterisk symbol here, star symbol. Okay. So why? Because the inner text it always changed in that number value. To make it stable, I'm just use the dynamic expression there. So once the module is created, drag and drop that module into your test case. Come back here. drag and drop this module to your test case. So coming back to here, this is the message. You may ask, Anusha, you can use the action mode buffer, right? I'm just showing if you use action mode buffer, then what happens? Purchase and action mode as a buffer. So team, if it is interactive control, that means what type of control it is? Dotted square bracket means what type of controls it is a div tag. Okay. For div tags and all, you cannot buffer the directly value, must you have to use the inner text. Okay. Now, just run this one. The value is buffered here successfully. If you see in the buffer section, go to Tools tab and Buffer Viewer. And here you can see the buffer purchase, right? This is the buffer value. Is everyone able to see? If we use action mode buffer, what is happening? If we are using action mode buffer, it buffer the entire message. Now I don't want entire message. I want only the piece of code. That time what we have to do? We have to use dynamic buffers concept. How to use the dynamic buffer? Very simple. Just take a copy, paste here in this location, copy this entire message. What are the message you are seeing here? Here you have to use dynamic syntax. This location, the value is changing, right? In this location, remove this value. Keep the buffer syntax, XB of buffer name. So I'm just using amount. Then you are correct. Same in a text only, but the value where exactly the value is changing in that particular location, change the action mode syntax, like a dynamic buffer syntax. If you are using this syntax within this value column in Tosca Commander, in this value column, if you are using this particular syntax, make sure to keep the action mode as a verify. What is action mode here? Verify. So how we know, Anusha? So within the value column, are you able to see the syntax XB of buffer name? XB means extract buffer. So extract buffer of amount. Amount is nothing but it is a total amount. So in this total amount, use the action mode as verify. If you want to see how it looks like, because it is a very lengthy message, right? Let's close all these things and come back here. You can drag this one. You can able to see how it looks like. Are you able to see XB of amount statement here? Tim? If you run this particular step right now, what amount it is generated here, it buffer that amount. What is the amount here? 1788. The page is refreshed. 1854 number. Expand here. So you can see in the to buffer viewer, a lot of buffers are there. Just give me 1 minute. I'll delete buffers here. To delete the buffers, make sure to use the delete buffer. Control T. T box. Delete. So there is no buffers in a buffer section right now. Come back here, select this one and right click on here, run in Scratchbook. If you do run in Scratchbook, it buffer only this piece of code, 1854.38. Are you able to see only the amount is buffered here instead of buffering the entire message? Okay.
Yes, Anusha.
So what are the amount it is buffered here, Tim? Just copy that buffered amount and paste here. If you come here, how to retrieve these buffered values? Use the buffer syntax. How to use the buffer syntax, Tim? Normal way. Use capital B of buffer name. What is the buffer name? Amount is the buffer name. Amount, close and close curly brace, action mode is input. As per this article, what exactly they are doing, what amount is generated here, you have to enter that amount into this text box. If you do refresh one more time, the amount is changed 1369, 1396. If you do refresh again, the amount is changed 1015. If you do refresh again, the amount is changed 1259. So each and every execution, the amount is completely dynamic team. Even the amount is changing dynamically. It do the execution without any error message. It capture the value. Are you able to see? It is getting some message like you are did the good job. The script is executed, and even the amount is also captured into the buffer section. Clear? This is a very important concept. And real time, most frequently we used to work with this area, not only for particular web application, any kind of projects. This is a quite common thing we used to perform and buffer the values. Very simple approach. At the time of verifying this message, buffer this value using dynamic buffer syntax. What is the syntax? XB of buffer name. In this location, if you want to keep into your order ID level, in the order location, keep that XB of buffer name. For example, order ID. So this location, which value it is generated, not only numeric team, even alphanumeric combination also it capture the same way. Clear? Team, the dynamic buffer.
Anusha, after capturing that dynamic buffer, you did the last step, right? You captured that amount. You took that value and you entered into the text box. Can you show that? The last step.
This one.
Yeah.
Here, purchase completed. We charge the total amount of dollar of amount here. The amount is generating. Okay.
Yeah.
In this location, what I did, I just use the dynamic buffer syntax. This amount, what are the amount you are seeing here? This amount is the name of the buffer. You can give any name. It's user defined only. Okay. So it store that amount variable into buffer section like this, and it enter the value here like this. Able to see the amount variable created and value is assigned. So what are the value it is stored into buffer? We are just passing that value to the another field. Clear?
Yep. Thanks, Anil.
So this is one of the most frequently asked interview question, team. So the terminologies are different. Either you can say dynamic buffer or extract buffer. Dynamic buffer or extract buffer in Tosca. So extract means X buffer, or one more terminology is a X buffer. These all are the different terminologies used in real in interviews point of view. What is dynamic buffer? This is a straightforward question. What is X buffer? X is nothing but it's a dynamic buffer. What is extract buffer in Tosca? Extract buffer is also same thing. Clear? All of you? So most frequently used ones in real time team, these two, one is action mode buffer we used to go, and a dynamic buffer and the T-box set buffer. These three things we always try to reuse frequently in each test level, and the delete buffer if required we do that, otherwise not required. Coming to partial buffer, name to buffer, it's very rare scenarios we use, but partial buffer somewhat we use to retrieve a piece of information from the existing buffer level. Okay, I'll explain all these things with examples, but dynamic buffers concept is clear, right?
Yes, Anusha.
So here, do one assignment team. do one assignment. In NVP.com, already you guys are built the registration and login functionality. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. In NVP.com, NVP.com is nothing but NVP Commerce application. The NVP Commerce application, you people are already built the registration and login functionality. Are you guys completed or not?
Yes.
Team?
Sure.
Yes.
I did not.
It's done, right? Okay. Who are completed this particular one team? Who are completed this registration login? Once you do with the login, build the logic. After login, build this logic. So what is the logic you have to implement? So go to books page and then add one item to the cart. Then click on shopping cart. In a shopping cart, you guys able to see the table, right? In this table, verify the product, the same product, it is added to the table or not. Verify the product. Once you verify the product, just do click on I agree. Check out. So once you do checkout, and here you have to enter the billing address, the shipping address, and then payment mode, payment tip, and then place the order. Once you place the order, finally generate the order ID. So order ID, capture the order ID and update this order ID into TDS repository. So for registration login, if you have already data in TDS, maintain them. Otherwise, retrieve data from the TDS. In the TDS level point of view, retrieve data, create a registration and login data, and use that login data to perform all these actions. Let me show you here. anu@nnic.com. So here, so see here, Tim, this is anu@nnic.com is my mail ID. Once your registration is done, just log out and log in. But as I mentioned, go to the books, click on add to cart, and once you click on add to cart, close this icon, click on shopping cart, and here verify the product, the same product is added or not. Once you verify this one, I agree, checkout. Once you do the checkout here, so this is your first placement, right? First order, right? In the after registration, you have to enter your billing address here. You have to enter the billing address, ship to the same address. Like this is the enter your billing address. Same address you are just using for shipping address as well. So already some details are already populated. You have to pick the respective areas, which countries you are in. And this is a Telangana. Just use here Hyderabad, India. Amirpet. I'm just using some random addresses here. Okay. And phone number, you can keep it and then continue. Once you enter the continue, the shipping address also same one it is captured, because in the billing address, one option is there, that is the In that option level, the shipping address is also captured. So here, team shipping method, ground, next day air, second day air, continue. And then here, payment method, as I mentioned, the payment method, either you can choose check or money order or credit card. In the check or money order, keep the first one as it is, click on continue. Then verify the payment information, click on continue. Last one is here, confirm. Once you confirm the order, it will generate the order ID. So here you can see your order has been successfully processed. This is the message you have to verify. Then order number. The order number is 47 here. And click here for order details. The order details also you can directly use and then continue. So what order number it is generated here? Copy this order number, not a copy, buffer this order number using dynamic buffer. Update this value back to the TDS. So will you able to complete this particular flow, team?
How do you update it into TDS, Anusha?
The same
Using
thing. Yesterday I just explained to you, right? In NOP registration, the parameterization, you used one update item like a used item.
yeah.
You're just updating item back to the used, right? The
Yes.
similar way, same data type, give the name of the column. Okay. If column name is exist, it update the same column. If not, it create the new column. Getting?
Okay.
So here order number, just create one column name here. It has a order number. For example, just do checkout. Come here. Instead of status, before updating the status, make sure to here you can use order number and what buffer it is captured. You can call the buffer here like open curly braces, capital B of amount like this. Then once it is inserted, then use here status and then mark it this record should be used. Getting? The same update item only, but the column name is changing. That's it.
Because okay, the structure should always should be already there as a order number, right? Column.
Yes.
Instead of okay, yeah, got it.
Same structure, nothing is changing, but whenever you're done with your flows, what IDs you just captured, you're just updating that IDs back to the TDS level. That's it. Clarity?
Anusha, we have action mode buffer and also T-box set buffer, right? In which cases we will use the action mode buffer and what is the difference in both?
The action mode buffer, it buffer the control related text within the web page. If you use action mode buffer for this entire control, it buffer this entire text. If you use dynamic buffer only to buffer successfully, then you can use. We have huge different. The control level, if you mention buffer, it buffer the entire value. If you don't want to enter this message, you want to when capture only the piece of code, then use in this location dynamic buffer.
What about
Clear?
set buffer, Anusha?
T-box set buffer.
In the set buffer, directly we can create the buffer name and buffer value, the like parameterization. Are you guys remember? To perform parameterization, to map the TDS values here, here itself I'm creating the buffer name, here itself I'm passing the name of the buffer value.
So set buffer is used to get the data from the database.
Yes, the database point of view can get the data and we can create this buffer. Directly T-box set buffer level, create the buffer name, buffer value. Directly you can creating the name of the variable, assigning the values. Directly here itself you are doing. That is the one thing. Action mode buffer, you are buffering from the application. Dynamic buffer, you are just buffering the changed value in the application. Very huge difference is there for these three approaches.
Okay.
I'll explain this, but initially be focused with action mode buffer and dynamic buffer, and what scenario assignment I just given to you. Please do work on that assignment. Okay.
Yes, Anusha.
Okay, team. So that's it for today, team. We can connect tomorrow same time. Thanks to you all.
Anusha, can you please load this video so it'll be easy for us to refer and do your assignment for the reference point.
In a WhatsApp group or
No, this recording, if you can please upload
okay.
it in the morning hours, it'll be easy for us to refer to your video and do the assignment.
Sure, definitely. I'll do that.
Okay. Thanks,
Probably I
Anusha.
missed yesterday. I'll do that today.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, team.